Hello, everyone, and welcome to another match preview show on Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzy, and I'm your host for this evening. We are officially back. The Premier League begins from tomorrow, so football is back. So I'm sure everyone is exciting about that. So it's only right that I brought on a guest to the show, and it goes no other than Dubul Dee. Dubul Dee, big up D. How you doing?
What's going on, bro? Here,
All
here,
good, man.
here.
All
You
good.
get me?
It's been a summer of madness, to say the least, when it comes
Indeed.
to transfers. So for me, I have to ask you. We haven't spoken about online. We've spoken of in terms of offline, in terms
Yeah.
of what we're doing in terms of transfers. So give me your thoughts. So far, like how impressed have you been with my guy Richard Hughes? Doing all the deals right now.
He's your guy now, yeah?
He's my guy, man. He's my guy.
Man's done the 180, bro.
Yeah, man. That's my guy right now. You know what I mean? So
There
I
was one
profile and all
show.
that. You know what I mean?
There was one show about 3 months ago where you spent about 20 minutes cussing
Boy,
him, bro.
things change. People change, things change. So new day, new me in it. You know what I mean?
No, but to be honest, due to what we've been linked to, we've been Liverpool fans from
Yeah,
early, sorry, late 80s, early 90s, whatever, right? Due to what we've come across, we've been linked to play since the Premier League started. We've been linked to big players, and it hasn't happened. So, Verts,
yeah,
for instance, when I heard it, I thought, yeah, we'll try. We'll end up going Bayern, maybe even end up going City.
yeah,
So, to pull that off, and considering the magnitude of the sell you're breaking your transfer record, it took a couple of weeks, but not as anywhere near as long as you would have expected something like that to happen. In fact, if we'd sold maybe a player earlier, it would have probably even happened
yeah,
even more quicker than it did. And the player showed that he wanted to come. I know he spoke to City as well, but obviously
mm,
Pep couldn't promise him that he'd be there in a certain
yeah,
amount of years or whatever. So yeah, when we got that deal there, because that's a player I've rated since seeing him play from like 17 in the Bundesliga. He had a horrible injury. So to get
yeah,
him, because I've always sat there and said, if we've got that 10 that can, because don't get twisted, Sobasai is a really good player, work rate is sick, but to have like someone in there that's not going to
yeah,
pet to shoot, can play really good passer, can play those slide rule passes and whatnot. I'm excited, bruv. He
mm,
was actually usually with FPL, for instance, Salah was always the first person in. I actually put first in before I got
that's
Salah this year, bruv. which
fair
sounds
enough.
so you get me. So yeah, so that was a big one. Um Ekatike I rate. We'd spoken about him on here
Yeah,
from how long ago, but
months ago. Yeah,
I know he's a great player, but I was saying I don't know whether or not he's gonna be it's within him or he'll have to develop to be that guy to go and grab a mass amount of goals. Great
mm,
start on in the community shield, which
yeah,
obviously we'll get to. But so hopefully he can keep that up because Darwin started winning the community shield as well, didn't he? And then it all went a bit a
yeah,
bit wrong. But
yeah,
so yeah, Ekatike. Kirkez, I rate. I'm a man who's preferred Ainori more, but Kirkez young and at his best, he has a couple iffy, had some iffy games at Bournemouth, but at
yeah,
his zenith at Bournemouth, it looked like we were watching a young Andy Robertson. You get what I'm saying?
yeah,
Um, so good signing there. Frimpong, another good player, but I wasn't as excited as some when it first was done because I think of him more as a wing back. But then obviously that gives us the opportunity to switch up the formation, etc. But I liked what I saw in the community shield. And that was also in preseason anyway, in terms of
yeah,
him, like the recovery pace and whatnot, which can bail you out if you're not the best at reading the game, whatever, but you could get back and
mm,
interceptions and whatnot that he made. But I liked what I saw for, I could say, the first 55, 60 minutes of the
yeah,
community shield game. You also have we brought in, we've got, well, the Mama really, we spoke about him a year
yeah,
ago when that was first done. Wicked shot stopper. I'm not sure about him with the ball at his feet, but wicked shot stopper. Right
yeah,
as of now, I think Kelleher is a better goalkeeper than him, but obviously he's gone now, so we have to work with the signing
yeah,
that we got in. So I like, yeah, but look, I think he can develop be a great goalkeeper, but I hope that that is right when Allison is ready to be done. We're not trying to fast track this guy to be the number one because he's not ready yet.
yeah,
Even I would say at the start of next season he wouldn't be ready yet. Um, And then who else? So then who else have we brought in?
Well, a couple goalkeepers. Well, of course,
Leone,
there
Leone,
one
what,
young goalkeeper, one Woodman, isn't it? Yeah.
Woodward. Jeez, nah, I'm playing. So yeah, experienced third choice
Yeah.
goalkeeper. So yeah, Leone will be
Yeah.
getting announced soon. You were speaking about him on the show the other day. He dropped an interesting stat. I think it was, is he in the top two or three in
So it's
aerial Jules one,
number one in aerial duels. Yeah,
21, 21 and under? Yeah,
in the top seven leagues.
look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that, and we all know that aerial duels is what did for Jarrell Quansah, isn't it? In that opening game against Ipswich. So already he
I know.
Slot, Slot was firmly involved in this one, boy. You get me? But
That's,
he's
that was
comfortable on
his
the ball,
appointment there.
as well, high pass
Yeah.
completion as well. So one of them ones be able to carry the ball out from defense as well. So that will fit right in. So yeah, I'm really excited about this signing. Though he's only 18. You get me? If you're young
Yeah.
enough, you're good enough, or whatever it is that they say. So yeah, it's all about, and the thing is as well is that there's still players that I don't want to see go, but could go. The Elliots, the Dokes, Elliot especially, but the
Mm.
Ben Dokes of this world and whatnot as well. You get me? So like in terms of sales, like for instance, I think Tyler Morton should have got more game time, but we sold him for 15 million. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? He's another one comfortable on the ball in central midfield, will put his foot in and that.
Yeah.
So with more sales coming, I expect us to do some more business. It's just about like who it is. For instance, I'm in the minority that want Chiesa to stay, but I know there's a lot of
Me
fans
too.
that
I feel like
um
we both are actually.
would
I
want
don't
him
think
out.
that many fans want him to stay.
Yeah, but the thing is as well, that will be heavily influenced by the way Slots used him thus far,
Yeah.
because there's been games when he's been fit and not been included on the bench. There's games where he's fit, he doesn't get much time off the bench, but when he comes on, there's an enthusiasm that he has, and like the work rate, the endeavor and whatnot, the guile that suggests to me, especially in away games, he can
Yeah.
do something. Look at that cup final defeat against Newcastle. We were
Newcastle.
that game. Yeah, bar what, rest in peace, Jota, the
Yeah.
chance he missed at the end of the first half and whatnot. We didn't look shows too much of a threat. When Chiesa
No.
got on the pitch, we looked like we were going to force that team to extra time. He
Yeah.
obviously scored, but just the way he was harrying the defenders and midfielders as well can make all the difference. So
Yeah. It's
it's
true.
been, yeah, it's been an interesting window, but in the first one that was out of nowhere. I was like, oh, it was almost
Yeah.
Fabinho-esque, like the Fabinho
Yeah.
one rapidly. That this was like we bid, they want more money and whatnot, dragged on a little longer. But I thought at first, Verts, nah, we're not going to get
Yeah.
Florian. Oh, we're going to get Florian Verts. It's like, yeah, you get me. So
Bro, and it happened so early as well. This was like late May where we started making official approaches. And I think it must have got concluded like early June. So it's one of those ones where I was like, these deals don't normally happen
mm,
so quickly. It's the
yeah,
type of deals where it prolongs and it ends up being a long kind of situation. Then you have it towards the latter stages, like in August, like kind of like this time of the winners when you conclude those deals, because there's so much involved in getting those deals finalized in terms of like salary, bonuses,
yeah,
clauses, and even like personal things like commercial rights in terms of image rights and all that sort of stuff. So
mm,
there's a lot of things involved in getting those deals done. But I know with the club, they've been in discussions with him for months. It's not just something that happened overnight.
and
So
he was on
Liverpool,
holiday and he was on holiday as well, wasn't he? As well.
yeah.
So yeah,
And
but
Liverpool, they've done their homework, and I feel like there's definitely be a strategy in place in terms of trying to get these players. And what I like about our signings, they're all upgrades to what we had last year as well. So with Kirkes, he's an upgrade on Robertson, who's still around, don't get me wrong, but
yeah,
he's slightly on the decline in terms of, playing ability and being someone that we can utilize every game. He's not got that kind of engine, unfortunately, because, we've overused him throughout the years. So with Kirkes, you've got a fullback who's interesting, in my opinion, because generally, fullbacks they like to go on an overlap. He's very good at that, but he likes to underlap as well. He likes to come in
yeah,
field,
yeah,
and that's different. That's not something you get in this day and age where you've got a fullback that can do both and
mm,
very effectively as well. So
mm,
for me, that's a plus point. In terms of Frimpong, obviously there will still be question marks in regards to his defending ability, but I feel like from what we've seen in preseason,
mm,
I feel like he can handle himself really well.
yeah.
And the difference between him and Trent is that I never felt like Trent enjoyed defending. Like he would never,
Mm,
run back with aggression to try and make that
yeah.
last ditch tackle. Frimpong
Consistent,
has recovery speed.
consistent. You did it sometimes, but you mean consistently always.
Consistently. And like
You
with
get
what
me?
I've seen with Frimpong, like anytime he's out of position, he's quick to get back to being position. So for me, it's about sometimes it's not about defending greatly one on one with attackers, because let's be honest, the attacker always has the advantage because obviously that's their job to do, right? But
Mm,
from a fullback's point of view, you have to, be around, you have to kind of close the space. And I feel like that's what Frimpong will do in our team. So I
mm.
feel like from a forward point of view, you don't know if he's playing right back, right mid, or right wing. He's playing the same way. But defensively, what I do appreciate is that the way he track back and make sure he's in position to at least make it where there's no gaps or holes in our defense. And he'll help out in that
Yeah,
shape or form. So I've been impressed in terms of what he's done there. Verts, honestly, I still don't believe he's a Liverpool player. Like it's one of
yeah.
those things where it's
Having
a
to pinch
dream. Like,
yourself.
yeah, so because when you see him on the ball, it's like I'm trying to think of
He does
words.
a
Like,
he does a lot with a minimum amount of touches, isn't it?
yeah, but
You get what I'm saying?
everything is like perfection. Like even the first touch and the way he glides with the ball, it's
Yeah,
like the ball sticks with him. Like it doesn't
yeah,
move
yeah,
around.
yeah,
And then the
yeah.
passes as well. Like
Got an assist on
when he
Sunday,
receives
innit?
the ball,
Assisted Ekatike
yeah.
goal.
So when he receives the ball, like I've not even seen what he's done. Like he's done it before, and then 2 minutes later, he's doing another move that he's literally an artist on the pitch where he's already painted the picture two steps ahead
Yeah,
of everyone else. So I feel like that's a sign of a real quality player. And not only that, he's only 22. So we've bought a player for the first time, I would say, in terms of our sort of lifetime to supporting Liverpool. We bought someone at their not even their peak yet, but he's still renowned to be one of the best in his position in the
yeah,
world.
yeah,
We've never bought a player like that. We've bought Thiago, who was probably the best midfielder at the time, but he was, an older midfielder. He wasn't a prime Thiago, if that makes sense. So
yeah, yeah,
we've
yeah,
never bought a player in that kind of magnitude. And Ekatike, we've actually mentioned him, I think, a few months ago. So because with the Ekatike stuff, like it's funny, Newcastle fans will be like, "Oh, you just nicked him because we were linked to him," but I've known about Ekatike for months because we've been linked to him for quite a while. So
yeah.
I've already kept an eye in terms of his progress. I even watched a couple of Europa League games because he was, playing against
That's what
Tottenham
it's
and
playing. Yeah,
all that sort of stuff. So he was always a player that I thought, was a player that could be on our radar. And I've been impressed whenever I've seen him play. My only reservation with Ekatike was, can he be a consistent goal scorer at the highest level? But of course, if you're not given that chance, we'll never know. But
yeah,
in terms of the other aspects of his game, he's quite unique. You don't really get strikers nowadays that are great with the link up play. They
yeah,
can drop deep. They can go to the flanks and attack the channels.
yeah,
Um, they can play on their own. Plus, alongside a striker, like he's a very unique profile. So for me, people are, oh, he's just going to be a backup to Isak, who potentially will be coming.
yeah,
I don't think it's always going to be like it will be depending on who we play. And I
yeah,
think based on that, we'll see maybe him on the left at times or
yeah.
alongside Isak, depending on how the team wants to set up. So
All that
very happy to have.
all that 4-4-2 that you was running a demo on
Yeah, the diamond.
about a month or so ago, the diamond, because for
Yeah,
me, putting him on the left to me is disrespectful to Cody, bro. If you get
yeah,
what I'm
yeah. I
saying, bro, for
agree.
me. So play
Yeah.
the two and then utilize Salah how you need to and whatnot, and yeah,
Mm,
vary up with
yeah.
the formations and that. You get me? That's what I'm thinking. But I do actually sit here and wonder that if Isak had kicked up the fuss
Early.
earlier. But this is the thing,
Yeah.
though. The reports have come out, and it was actually mentioned a long time ago, but people thought it was lies. He told them a
Mm,
year ago he wanted to leave,
yeah.
and then just before the end of the season and whatnot again. But obviously they weren't. But now he's being assertive with it. If he'd done
Yeah.
that earlier, I do sit here and wonder whether or not it definitely would have been the Ekatike thing, or they would have looked for another striker that may have been cheaper than him. I'm not sure, but
I
you
think
get
he
me.
would have been Ekatike. I think with the squad, I think Nunes was definitely destined to leave. It was just a thing where we had to move him on at some point.
Mm,
Unfortunately, due to the tragic loss of Diogo Jota as well, we had to reassess the squad again because we felt like that the numbers are low and we need to try and make sure we have enough numbers in our attack. So I think that's
yeah,
why maybe Ekitike wasn't regarded as a signing for this year. Maybe it was the next year signing where we thought let him
yeah,
play at Frankfurt for another season and then we'll
but
get him
but
on
but,
board, and
but
then he can play alongside Isak.
that's the thing, though, bro. We do
Mm,
this enough. Remember, Diaz,
yeah,
Tottenham.
and Gakpo as well.
So we struck in summer. I say we
Yeah,
struck in January, but we wanted to
yeah,
get him in the summer.
in the summer.
So
Yeah,
we got ahead of Tottenham. Gakpo, as you said, Man United were involved. Then
mm,
we struck to get him in the winter transfer window. So we do these
yeah,
things, but for some reason, all these things seem to get leaked. Before that never used to happen with Liverpool. So then other
yeah,
teams are obviously going to be onto it or whatever, you get what I'm saying, bruv. So
yeah,
though people look like we've done well in terms of what's been like a partial replenishment bit by bit of the forward line, we were
yeah.
to an extent forced into one or two of the buys. So,
No, I
but
agree.
we got it done. That's the main thing. But not exciting
Mm,
in terms of firepower because when you're adding that to, don't get twisted, Jota, God rest his soul, at the
yeah.
time of passing, was the best finisher at this football club. You get what
Oh,
I'm saying?
facts.
Like,
Yeah.
regardless of the amount of goals that Salah's got, Salah could do that because he's got pace,
No, but it's
he's
the it's
got
the
nous.
technique, it's the finishing ability.
You know what
Like
I'm
he was a
saying?
natural goal scorer.
Yeah, a natural
Mm,
goal, so like Jota naturally putting the able to finish in that. So
yeah,
now we've got two in there. Let go, obviously Darwin. I forgot to mention earlier in terms of the outs. So
yeah,
it will be interesting now because people think Salah's numbers will go down. Obviously, he's going to go to AFCON earlier than he usually would. But some of those
yeah,
balls that he puts in, whether it's Ekatike, who we already have, or it's Isak, who could possibly come,
yeah,
I don't see them missing the chances that were missed before. Diaz was another guilty party who's been sold as well. Like you get what I'm saying, some
yeah,
diabolical misses. So
yeah,
when you've been the top scorers in the league anyway, and then you're seeing what looks like better finishers in your forward line,
exactly.
it could be very, very interesting as well. And then with Verts their kick, Salah ain't never played with that like a Verts, De Bruyne, one of those type of
Listen,
guys that are gonna continuously feed him.
yeah,
He's had to pick the ball up and do things by himself. So you think those numbers are gonna go down? He could still be scoring at his age at the same rate. Because if they find him, obviously, it's a
mm,
bit worrying at the moment. The penalty misses are not. We know that he can miss some diabolical
yeah,
shots sometimes,
yeah,
but he'll make or get another one. Whether or
yeah,
not
yeah,
he makes it himself or someone to set him up, or just like the way he maneuvers and that he knows where to be in the box at certain times, and
yeah,
that's where he can get goals like all around, drop left hand side. Sometimes a corner gets taken on from his side, and somehow he's found his way to this side of the box, and the ball seems to find him because he's just like it's the
yeah.
intelligence. You know what I'm saying? So.
I think with
So
Salah, for me, he's too strong mentally for that to affect him. Does that make sense? Like
yeah,
those
yeah.
penalty misses, it is what it is. These things happen, but I don't know what it is with rival fans where whenever the season begins, they feel like Salah's on decline. It's like every
Every
single
season
year.
they say it. They've been saying
Yeah,
it from his second season in the league. So after the summer after his first season, oh,
yeah, yeah.
he's not going to have a season like that. But the guy's numbers are just outrageous, but just not outside of
Outrageous,
that,
yeah,
they should be better because he misses some diabolical chances. But also as well, he could have smashed up those records last season, though he got there in the end for a 38 game
yeah.
season. Look at the chances people were missing. He was brought
And
on
he
the
doesn't
bench
need to
these
be a
guys.
goal scorer. Like this year, he can actually focus on being a playmaker
Relax, yeah.
if he feels that he's not impactful because. And the thing is, he will be impactful because we've got Verts in our team. And are you telling me Verts isn't going to supply through balls to Salah when he's on goal? Come on. We've got too much ammunition in our team now.
That makes
Like,
him
if
more
we add
dangerous. If Mo
more,
Salah's an
more dangerous, of
afterthought,
course.
if Mo Salah's
Yeah.
an afterthought, that makes him more dangerous, bruv. Because you're
Yeah.
going to leave him more open than you usually do, and he's going to
And
smash the
now
corner over.
people aren't going to man mark him as much now because
Mm,
before you could kind of have the fullback and then you can have one of your midfielders, going 2-on-1 on him. But now you've
mm.
got to worry about Verts. Oh, Gakpo's on the left. Oh, Ekitike
Yeah,
or Isak if he comes. Like, there's too many like
yeah, yeah,
players
yeah.
that you have to really focus on now. So that's a good position for us to be in because now it's like, you think we're one. Because even would call us a one-man team. I don't know why we were never a one-man team, but now we've got too many like real lethal attackers in our squad. So it's like look, Ryan fans will always talk nonsense. We know this. Like it's
two,
not a
two
new
of the
thing to us.
best.
You know what I mean?
A team that had two of the best fullbacks to ever grace this league, one and two in assists. Not even just that, but one and two
Yeah,
in assists in Premier League history. Yeah.
history. Yeah,
You've got one of the best goalkeepers to ever grace the Premier League.
yeah,
Yeah, You've got one
one
of
of the
the
best centre
best
backs as well.
centre backs in Van Dijk to ever grace the Premier League. I'm not saying he's
Yeah.
number one like some, but he's definitely in top three, minimum top five. You get what I'm saying? Of
No
centre backs
facts.
that have played in this, that have played in this league.
Yeah.
You're only really taking a Terry over him or a Ferdinand, or if you're a Yap Stam guy, or what? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but for
Over
me,
him
like Yap Stam wasn't even there that long. So
all the
and
time.
not even just to be biased, I do think Van Dijk is number one. And I've said it so many times because what he brings as a player, like forget accolades and what your teams want, because that's always the argument. People always want to bring those kind of discussion points, when
Mm,
it's a player that they don't like, if that makes sense. When it's a Liverpool player,
mm,
oh, you never won enough trophies, blah blah blah. But the thing is, from a footballing point of view, he has very minimal weaknesses. Like when he makes a mistake, look how much noise you hear as well
mm,
because it's unusual for him to make any mistakes.
mm.
He's only lost 3 times in Anfield his whole career in terms of as a Liverpool player. So those volume that speaks volume, doesn't it? Like in terms of you
In
as a
seven and a
defender.
half years.
Bro, honestly,
3 times in 7.5 years. Do you know how ridiculous that is? Yeah.
United lose that many games in 1 week. Do you know what I mean? So it is what it is. You know what I mean? But I'll go through some of the
In the
comments and
league,
then
sorry, in the league, 7 times, 3 times in
yeah,
seven and a
yeah,
half years. In the league, we won't get
yeah.
into
I know people are gonna bring
certain
up
European
Athletic
games.
Madrid and all that kind of jazz, isn't it? You know
Atletico
what I mean?
Madrid or PSG.
Yeah. No,
You get me?
we've got Liverpool
Look,
fans in the
the
house, so
irony, the
we
irony
should
is
be
one of
fine.
those defeats was his fault. Do you remember when we lost to Leeds? He was there
Yeah,
ball watching when Somerville scored.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah, yeah. I
get me?
remember that actually. Yeah, yeah. That probably got him to move to West Ham. To be fair, let's go through some of the comments. Ozan come back. Big O says, I've got my starting 11. Ozzy, curious to see yours. We'll do our starting
Yes.
lineup very, very shortly. Stuart says, welcome. So that's for you, Double D. Big up to
Big
Stuart.
up, big
Appreciate
up,
you
big up.
coming on. Ozan Carter said, "Man like Ozzy." Hey, did Ozzy say to Richard Hughes, "Who does it? What does he do?" Listen, listen. We all
That's
make
what I'm saying,
mistakes.
Ozan. He,
We
man
all
had
make
a
mistakes.
10, 15 minute rant a couple months ago about Hughes, about how he doesn't know what he does. Well, I say a
Listen,
couple months, like
I
about five
wasn't
months
familiar
ago.
with his game. That's what I was saying. I wasn't familiar with his game.
He's got his name
And
back
it's
now.
not, but
Remember last time I was on, I said until he makes sort some signings out, he's Pierce Brosnan to me, bro. He's got his name
trust
back
me.
now, bro. You get me?
But we did say, look, if he proves me wrong, I will happily put my hand up. I think once we signed Verts, I was like, fine, this guy's got my votes. Because I never thought Verts was a realistic signing ever. Like, when I do these transfer shows when I give you potential signings and always have one or two like dream signings. I never even put him in that category because I didn't feel like it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
even
yeah.
like it was even a dream scenario there. So yeah, he's pulling the strings. His ability of speaking Italian has helped now because we've got Leone through the door. So it's all coming to work. So yeah, what more can we say? Ozan come out says man needs to fill out an apology form. Minute. I said it on stream, so I did apologize. I think a couple of months
two,
ago when we got the vet still.
two apology forms, bro.
I'll have to do it. I'll have to do it. So we'll have to do a combined one. We'll have to do it at some point. Daz, big up Daz. He said, big up Aussie, Double D. What
Big
number
up,
do you think
big
Leone
up,
gets?
does.
Also, where can you pressure Bournemouth? We'll speak at Bournemouth shortly. In terms of Leone, so the breaking news today is that Leone has flown in. He flown in early this morning for
Yeah.
medical. I think the medical is almost pretty much completed, and he's going to get a 6-year contract and will possibly be involved maybe tomorrow, maybe later this week.
Mm.
But he is expected to be in attendance at Anfield tomorrow. So I'm sure there'll be some fans, taking pictures of him. In terms of shirt number 15, I think is available, right? In terms of
I, I think he might get something.
closest to the first 11, I think.
I think he might get something in the 20s still, but we'll see.
What number do you think he'll get?
Something in the 20s. Maybe Quan's old number, or
What did Consa have?
was it Quan's in the 20s? When he like a 22, something like that. But
I can't remember.
I have a butchers. But yeah, but
What
even
does
if
he
not,
wear for Parma right now? Because that might be.
an
Obviously, I know
indication.
Italian teams, they have like mad numbers in terms of like 99 and 71. And them ones, obviously, we don't really have that in the. So he's number 46. So
Mm.
maybe a 16 if he likes to have a six in his number.
Mm,
Maybe 16. 16 is available, isn't it? I don't think no one's got 16 in our squad. So maybe 16 could be the
mm.
number. We'll see. Obviously, in terms of like 1 to 11, they're all pretty much taken, isn't it? So
Yeah.
obviously, not getting number 9, that'd be bloody abysmal if you got number 9. But yeah, maybe something along those lines, you'll get that number. Um, Delirious Steve, big up yourself. He says, Ozzy took too long at the hairdressers. Nah, no, it wasn't the hairdressers. I was out in the evening, and then me and Double D were just like catching up. So yeah, apologies for appearing late, but better late than never, as they say.
Yeah.
Uh, and Delirious Steve says, Torres is as the closest Oz. I think in terms of in comparison to Ekitike, potentially. Ekitike looks amazing. Now in terms of Isak, because this is a player that I've been speaking about for a long time. The current development today is that he's been on strike, which is not really new news. We kind of knew that he's probably not even in Newcastle right now. But the breaking news or the breaking sort of development is that Eddie Howe has admitted defeat and accepts that Isak will leave the club. And I've also heard that Wissa is very close to joining Newcastle. So that's one attacker through the door. So
Yeah.
I expect Liverpool to make an official bid very, very soon. What do you think will happen with Mark Gay, Double D? Do you think we'll sign him in this window, or do you think we'll wait and get him on a free transfer next summer?
This is the thing. There was talk, like minor talk, that one thing that might hold the deal up, um, because they should be able to iron a fee out, though Liverpool
Yeah,
maybe are offering maybe a few million less than what Palace want, was that he might have queries over playing time because Van Dijk and Canate we would consider to be the main partnership, obviously, because that is the partnership now. So if it is the case, I'm a little worried that if it wasn't the case, we don't get him in this window because we
mm,
might be hesitant about paying the money. That next year there might be an offer from maybe even abroad or whatever that he might take because obviously as an individual, him and his camp get more money for
yeah,
him to go on a free in 12 months' time than it is obviously to leave now. Um, so I'm a little bit worried. I'm a bit pessimistic about us getting him next year.
mm,
If we so it would be better to wrap it up now.
yeah,
So then at least it would be like Leone's there. And as I said, I'm excited about that signing. But for me, we need both because when Quanso was there, I said we need another centre back due to Gomez's injuries. And just in terms of squad depth, I don't want to have to be putting Enzo at centre back unless there's a plethora of
yeah,
injuries. You get what I'm saying?
yeah,
So with the fact Constance gone, I felt that maybe we did too. So Leone perfect, young, won't mind being like fourth, fifth choice or whatever, as
yeah,
long as he gets some playtime and playing the cups and then can step in when we're playing lower opposition. For instance, in is it game week 12? I think we played Burnley or something like that. Could
yeah,
even give him a start there. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Um, you know what I'm saying? And then so yeah, so the longer this goes on, the more I think that we won't get him.
Mm. I
And
hear
then
you.
mm,
I don't know. I feel like because there has been a lot of chat in terms of the game time element of this deal, where he feels like, or the rumors that he feels like he might not get enough game time, but. Let's not kid ourselves. We're going to play a lot of games. We're not just in the Premier League. We're going to play FA Cup, Carabao Cup, Champions
yeah.
League. So there's a lot of games to play, and I do feel like this might be one of the seasons where, unusually, we will. I think we will rotate Van Dijk a little bit more. We have to be a bit
Oh, defo.
more careful in terms of not just overusing for the sake of him being such a immense figure in our defense. There will be games where you have to rest him a little bit. We've not had that luxury in the past because unfortunately, we've had players like Joe Gomez and Joe Matip in our squad who, of course, on their day are fantastic defenders,
Mm,
but have always been injured in some shape or form, whether it's one or the other or both on the same occasions. We've always had to produce sort of makeshift players to cover those sort of absentees, if that makes sense. So I've been saying it for a while. I wanted two defenders as well because even when Quanso got promoted to the first team, we didn't technically replace Matip in terms of numbers. And I always feel like when you've got a player like a Matip or like a Joe Gomez who have an injury record, they can't be relied upon as your four prime defenders, if that makes sense. So for me,
yeah.
Virgil Konate, of course, the first two choices. Mark Gay as the third choice makes perfect sense. I feel like he ticks all the boxes, in my opinion, to be that defender at first choice because I think he can form a great partnership with Konate. I think he can form a great partnership with Van Dijk, with Leone as well, and even with Joe Gomez because they have played together for England at some point as well. So
Yeah,
for me, that's the perfect player to have where it's got the right balance. He can play on the left side of a defense, right side. He's both footed, can play in the back three as we saw on Sunday,
yeah.
comfortable in the back four as well. So
Mm.
for me, he's a player, he's adventurous where he carries the ball, he's got decent pass in him. He
And
used some great through
and
balls
can
against us the other day.
yeah, yeah, good pass. That's what I'm saying.
Mm,
And I had similar thoughts to yourself for a hot minute because I've been to Sellers Park when you've been playing a
yeah.
couple of times. I've sat there and for ages I thought that he actually was left-footed because the amount of time there was a
I've
particular
said that for years. I thought he was left
there was
footed,
a particular
honestly.
game I went to a few years ago. I think it was 21-22 season. They were at home to Wolves. And I'm telling
Yeah,
you, he passed the ball more with his left foot than he did with his right foot. So I
yeah,
was convinced that he was like, but he is like both footed, whatever. But I don't know what
yeah,
one he would say that he is or prefer. Because Virgil plays on the left and he only passes it with his left foot sometimes, whereas he
yeah.
was
It
consistently in
needs
the
to.
game, like at a stage he played multiple passes in a row.
Yeah,
So sorry, with his left foot. So yeah, and a goal threat as well, man. He's very
yeah,
good at set pieces
yeah,
in the opposition's box. He'll get if he's not scoring, he'll get you a flick on or whatever. So as long as people are vigilant, they're alert in the box, can help out. So I would like the signing because I think he's a good defender. You know what I mean,
yeah.
but some think though he's 6 foot, some think that would be too short. Leone's what 6'2", 6'3",
No,
and he's
Leone is 6'4", 6'5".
yeah, there you go. And he's still growing because he's 18. Pause. So you get what I'm saying. So it's one of them ones there. So
I feel like with Mark Gay being 6 foot, I know fans will be like, "Oh, he's a bit short," but 6 foot. Let's not cross it. He's not short, but in
but he's good
terms
in
of like
he's
what he
good in the air
brings to
though.
the
So
table,
it's a
he's
minor. It's good in the air.
yeah, like he's still got good leap. Like for me, it's about the leap as well.
Yeah.
Like when we had Thiago, like he's one of the shortest players, but he could outleap
He used to
most.
win a bag of headers.
Yeah, that's what I'm
He's the
saying.
same
So
height as me, bro.
it's not about in terms of your height. It's about how you
Well, I
present
might be an
yourself
inch
in the
short, I might
game.
be an inch taller, but like
It's,
whatever. But still, like the
no, but
amount of
still,
headers that he would win was insane, bro.
for a small guy up against people that are 6 foot plus in a defensive midfield position, like he was challenging them. So,
Mm,
and there were that many players that overleaped him or got the ball away from him. So for me, we've got Mark Gay. I'm not saying the same profile, but he's that sort of defender where you can't really tell if he's a 6 foot player. Like, like he's lacking height because he's
mm,
so dominant in the air. Like he's very good in terms of his aerial duels, and he's definitely a player that can handle himself in terms of physical battle. So for me, he ticks all the boxes. I really hope we get that deal done in the next couple of weeks. The fee, I think, it's funny because I think it was on Wednesday or
mm.
Tuesday, it felt like it was a deal that's on the verge of happening. Like apparently
Yeah,
the room was like advanced talk, and all of a sudden Sky Sports, threw it on the spanner and said, "Oh, the fee might not be good enough." I generally feel like Simon Parish called him up, like, "Look, just pretend like it's not happening," saying he might end up staying, maybe to try and boost up the fee a little bit
mm,
because the player, I believe he's already agreed to it. I feel like he wants to come to Liverpool. So it's just a matter of time of getting the two clubs to come to some sort of deal. So I feel like it's gonna happen. Obviously, I want it to happen, but I feel like it will only because the chairman he said a comment a few days ago. He's like, "Oh, it makes no sense to let him go on the free. We're
yeah,
better off getting money for him right now." So because he said that, I feel like he's revealed his card there, and because he's revealed his card, that's why Liverpool went with a lower bid over 30 million bid.
yeah,
So I think there will be some sort of compromise where it will be 35 plus add-ons that equals to 40. That's my
mm,
prediction. So I feel like that deal will happen, but whether it happens soon, I don't know. I think now the Leon is done. I think that was a very sort of swift deal because
yeah,
the player really wanted to come. He's idolized Van Dijk for a number of
yeah,
years.
yeah,
So that's his guy. That's his dream sort of centre back. And that's how he plays his game based on how Van Dijk plays. So that's, ticked all the boxes there. He's come in 26 million plus add-ons, which equals to 30 million altogether.
yeah,
So it's also, with Chiesa in the squad, I feel like that's a good thing to have another Italian there, so he'll help himself. I read something that apparently he's staying with Chiesa tonight, because obviously he just moved to the country.
mm,
So even little things like that, it really helps in terms of players settling in and
yeah,
getting
yeah,
accustomed to a squad. So Liverpool are doing all the right things in this window. Like I've been super impressed with them. I really hope that we do get Gay. If I was to make a prediction, I think we will. Do you think we'll sign another attacker? Because I think Isak's coming. I don't know if you doubt that. Do you think Isak's coming or not?
This is another one as well, but
Okay.
this is probably more likely than Gahey. It's a tricky one because I don't know like what the hell flipping is going on there because with the
Mm.
way how he said he's not going to play for them and whatnot, wrap this up because I do not want another team coming in and taking this guy. This is like
But who
all
would come though? Who would come at this stage? Do you think?
in terms of all round play.
Mm.
This is the best striker in the Premier League, right?
Max.
Get
He is.
sort that out. Sort it out. Because I don't want anyone's coming in. He said he don't want to play for them anymore. He apparently
Yeah.
told, as we said earlier, apparently told them ages ago he didn't want to, etc. The
Yeah.
fans seem to be
They're
slowly
burning
washing.
shirts.
Yeah, washing. That always happens though, isn't it? It's like a show. Back when it happened in the Gerrard days when they thought
Yeah, I
Gerrard was
remember.
getting Chelsea, that weren't
Yeah.
no performative thing. That was done out of anger because it was a local lad
Yeah.
leaving. Now people will do this to get hits on social media. You get what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
mean, so
That happened to Rooney as well. Do you remember Rooney? That
oh
happened with Rooney as
yeah.
well.
When Rooney wanted out as well.
And then folks came round to his house the next day and he's like, "Yeah, I changed my mind." So I don't see it being that kind of
Well, it's
scenario
not
where
funny.
he
It's
does
not
a
funny,
U-turn.
but the fact of him changing his mind is not what I mean. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, but yeah, now get that sorted. Get that sorted, man. Um,
Mm,
and then there's not really you can't really have a bad word to say about this window then
no.
if that's sorted anyway. Because obviously I was sitting there saying, nah, we need two centre backs. A DM also would be a dream, but then obviously if you get the two centre backs, that means Endo won't have to fill in as much there.
Yeah.
So then therefore, obviously, then you'll take that window. So it's on the verge of being arguably the best window since I've been a fan.
Do you think we need a replacement for Diaz? Because that we don't really have that winger.
I
I know
don't know
Rio's
whether or not what they're going to give Rio more time or what. And obviously
that's
that's the thing. That's the thing though.
yeah.
Virtual Ekatike, though it's not their best position, can fill in there. Verts can play off
He
the
can
left.
fill
All
in there,
right.
yeah.
You can play off the right too.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I feel
Yeah.
like yeah, it depends on sort of who's available out there. Of
Mm,
course, you know who my favorite is, Barcola. That would be the dream
yeah.
signing, but I don't think that's realistic because
Yeah.
PSG won't want to sell him anytime soon.
I
And I
think
know they've had
them
that issue.
starting him yesterday against Tottenham
Yeah.
was a statement
Yeah, it definitely was. It
because
definitely was.
he's not been in that main front line. He was the one to come out since Kvaratskhelia got
Yeah.
bought. Imagine him at Liverpool, man.
Yeah. I know. You know how I feel about
Imagine
Kvaratskhelia.
Kvaratskhelia. Do you remember when you first went to flipping um, Napoli and you had
Yeah.
me on for the preview
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
Napoli game and we were waxing
yeah.
lyrical about him for about 10 minutes? You get what I'm saying? Like, come on,
Bro,
man.
I did a dedicated show when the rumor came out in January. So you know how gassed I got. I thought we was gonna get him. Like I thought, all right, bloody hell, like this is like Diaz or Gakpo like repeated, where
Yeah.
the summer signing that was supposed to happen a few months later is actually happening a few months early in January. So yeah, how how wrong were we? But I think the way the window's gonna end is going to be Leone, Gay, and I think it's going to be Isak. I don't think we're going to sign another attacker because I feel like we're going to keep Chiesa. I think
Mm,
he'll end up staying
mm.
for another season. And I feel like, as you mentioned, Verts, Ekitike, I might even throw Sabozla in there, can kind of cover that left wing position
Yeah,
if
but
required.
he played against us for was that Salzburg. Was it
Salzburg,
the Anfield game?
for Leipzig,
Suppose I
he
played
played
on the
there as well.
left.
And for Hungary, that's where he plays. He
Yeah,
plays.
yeah,
It's a
yeah, yeah,
different role because he's coming from the left side, but it's more of a free number 10 role. But
yeah.
it's on the left side, so he's more than capable of playing that position.
You
So
get what
for
I'm saying?
me,
I'm
and
sure.
obviously, we've got Rio as well. So if Rio, hits the ground running and really lives up to the bill. Then we've got a superstar in the making right there. So we've got cover in that area for now.
Mm,
I feel like Isak is the one we definitely need to have. Of course, Ekitike looks great when I've seen him on the pitch, but we need more depth in that area. And then it might be a thing where we have formations with two strikers up top. So, we have to make sure we've got a complete squad. That's what really excited about this summer. Of course, we're signing all of these great players or players that have the ability to be great one day, but we're covering the areas that have gaps. We've got a more complete squad now. Like when
mm,
you do your top 11s and all that sort of stuff. With each player, we've got an adequate backup for each position now,
yeah,
and we've not had that for a very long time. Maybe we've never had that, if I'm being honest with you. So it's probably the first time where I feel like the squad looks very, very complete.
yeah.
And look, for me, I'm very, very excited going into next season.
Them. The first cup game, yeah, the first
Mm.
Carabao game is going to be an interesting starting lineup. That's all I'm going to say. It's going to tell us a
Uh,
lot about how the season's going to shape,
mm,
depending on the opponent, of course. If it's
yeah,
a Premier League team, will be like, our hand will
yeah,
be
we
full.
makeshift. Yeah.
But if it's a team, like, even if it's just someone in the Championship, I'm going to be very interested to see what players start. It's going to give us an
Oh,
outlook into.
we're playing our second string, but our
Yeah,
second string
exactly.
is as good as any Premier League team, in my
That's not,
opinion.
no, 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 yeah, it will definitely be the second string, but I'm just trying to say is that how
Mm,
strong it is because if we play a championship team,
yeah, yeah,
Rio
yeah,
could get somebody to get me, but then if not, it will depend on whether Cody started the Premier League
yeah,
game
yeah,
before it or whatever. It's going to be interesting lineup to see. Like, we'll see how he's working because he's
yeah,
given into. Well, but it was distinctly obvious that they were tired, especially the
yeah,
PSG, the first leg. He's given into obviously all these journalists and reporters asking him about, oh, will he rotate more? Will he rotate more? Blah blah blah. Because you can see certain man running to the ground, so
yeah.
it'll be
No,
interesting. Mm,
no, I totally agree. Just got a comment here from Mazzy. He says Aussie is taking too long for this Isak saga to end. We
yeah.
need a attacker. Even Slot is saying we need a forward. So yeah, I
Mhm,
read a quote before we started the show from Arne Slot, and he basically said that he sees Hugo mainly as a number nine that could also play from the left, or together with another number nine. We need to have one more attacker at least. So that shows me that Isak, it looks like he will be the attacker that comes through, but I don't think it rules out a second attacker. If I think it will be based on the market if we can get someone that we feel like is adequate quality to add. Otherwise, we'll wait until next summer to finalize that kind of player. But even if it's Isak, Gehi, and Leone, I think that it's a 10 out of 10 window, maybe even 15 out of 10. Can't really have any arguments in terms of the business that we've done. So for me, I'm excited in terms of how the season is going to go. So let's quickly do a team analysis, and then me and Double D will present the team news, and then we'll do our predicted lineups as well. So, in terms of Bournemouth, bit of a different season for them, or should I say, it's different window for them, where unfortunately they've sold pretty much their whole back line. They sold Hoyson
I don't, and
to
the thing is, the players that are there, obviously, as you said,
yeah,
they've sold high. I always said to Madrid, they've sold Zabarni to PSG. Kirk has
yeah,
obviously come to us. Kepa was
Kirkes
their keeper last season
and
on
Kepa,
loan, but now he's gone to Arsenal, right? But the thing
exactly.
is, as well, is that even with the players they've got there now, I have no idea who's fit. And they've just sold, or they're
Yeah.
about to sell Atara to Brentford. So I don't even know who the hell is playing for
Oh,
them
is he
there.
definitely going?
Hmm? The agree, yeah. Ornstein, before we started, Ornstein tweeted that 37.5
Ah,
million bids
oh,
been accepted.
I'm gonna have to refix my lineup because I
So,
had him in my lineup. So
so I have no idea who's going to be. And Clive Iraola, I didn't do my due diligence and listen to all of the press conference like I
yeah,
do because like later in the season I'm onto that FPL purposes.
yeah,
you'll know why, right? But
yeah.
I don't know if Thing Clive will be fit enough or whatnot. I don't know. Like
No,
I
he's
have
not
no
fit
idea. I
from
couldn't
what I've
do a
heard.
predicted team yeah, for them because I have no
We're
idea.
gonna
They've
have to
got
try.
injuries.
We're
Get
gonna have
me?
to try today.
They,
Um,
they got injuries on me.
I know. But even in terms of preseason, it hasn't been their best. They literally didn't get any wins on the board. Two draws. They faced Real Sociedad twice, kind of like what we did with Bilbao, and then two defeats against United and West Ham.
Mm,
Um, And another sort of fun fact in regards to Bournemouth and Liverpool at Anfield, they've never beaten us. So they've only taken 1 point from us in the past, which I said in the last 24 available points.
mm.
Um, so yeah, it's been a strange window for Bournemouth, and I feel like it's a side that's definitely weakened to what was presented last season. Um, so it should put Liverpool in a good position. And speaking of Liverpool, of course, despite the defeat against Crystal Palace in the Community Shield, our pre-season preparations have been decent. Of course, we lost the one game against AC Milan, which was a 4-2 defeat. But in general, we've done quite well. We beat Preston 3-1. Stoke City 5-0. Of course, that was a behind closed doors fixture.
Mhm.
We won against Yokohama 3-1, and we beat Bilbao twice with a 4-1 and 3-2 victory.
Mhm.
But in terms of what Liverpool have presented this season, in terms of the recent games, um, I've been impressed in terms of the way we've played. The way we've started games, the speed and the intensity that we've played in.
Yeah,
We've added real quick and technical players in our squad with the likes of Frimpong, Kirkes, Verts, and Ekitike. And of course, we've got Leone coming through very soon. We're both praying that Mark Gay and Isak come through as well. Uh, so look, Liverpool still have the spine of their team. But I also feel like because we've added these acquisitions to our squad, it elevates our game further. So it's going to be an interesting fixture because I personally think Bournemouth are going to be quite vulnerable. And they pretty much got a makeshift defense now where it's not the prime defense. Of course, they've just sold Zabani. That happened a few days ago as well, isn't it? 55 million
yeah,
pounds.
yeah.
So they've got business to do
They've
before
bought what's that?
the
Is it
recovery.
DR? What's the defender called that they bought? Was it Diakate or Dia? They bought a
Oh, had they bought him?
they they
Diakate?
they bought not Dia. They've bought a centre half. Um,
Let's have a look.
let me get their
Because
name.
I know they've got a left back named
Yeah,
Truffert. So
Trufer.
they've got
Trufer is
yeah,
a good left back. Good
yeah.
left
So
back. They
they
got him
bought
from
him.
Rennes. Yeah.
But in terms of the transfer, I've not checked today to see if there's any. So you're right regarding the Brentford one. So they've agreed a 37 deal for Otara. That's actually a good signing for Brentford. I think that's a really good. He's basically Wissa's replacement, isn't he? So
Mhm.
I feel like the dominoes are falling through right now. Otara going to Bournemouth,
Yeah,
Wissa.
Diakate. They bought Buffalde Diakate, but Bournemouth bought. So yeah, and they'll probably get another centre half because obviously with
They
Zabani
have
going.
signed him. You're right.
Mm,
For 35 million, they've signed him. So
mm.
that's an interesting signing. But will he play? I
I don't know,
don't
but
know.
yeah, I forget because Howson took his place when he was injured. I forgot that Marco Sanesi's still there. So
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah. They've still got some players there,
he's a
but
good defender. Yeah.
I think even Billing's still there. Billings
Yeah,
returned
he's
from
come
loan,
back
I
from
think.
his loan at Napoli, isn't it? Mm,
Yeah, so he's still there. So
mm,
they've got some options. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
mm,
In terms of team news, from Liverpool's point of view, Gravenberg is suspended after picking up a red card against Palace on the last day of the season. Conor Bradley is out with a muscle injury, but we've got some relative good news. Joe Gomez has returned to training,
mm.
but I don't know if he'll be able to feature in this fixture. In regards to Bournemouth, unfortunately, they do have a few casualties on their side. Unal and Cook are in recovery with long-term injuries. Christie is out with a groin injury. Sinistera will have a late test, so he could be the guy that ends up playing on the left wing. So we'll have to have that as a defining factor to add him or not. Clivert, from what I've heard, is unavailable and not expected to be involved in this game. And Petrovic is expected to make his debut after signing from Chelsea. So what we'll do now is we will present our predicted lineups, and feel free to give us your predictions in the chat as well. So let's share the screen, and then we can talk about the line. We'll do Bournemouth first because I think that's going to be a bit of a head scratcher for me and Double D to try and figure
That's
out.
an understatement.
So we're trying, compile a first 11 for them. So here we go. Let me see if I can get you on. There you go. There's Double D. So
Mm,
in goal, I think it's clear that it will be Petrovic. I think, isn't it? That he'll be
yeah,
the goalkeeper that they've signed from
Chelsea.
Chelsea. So I think that's him, isn't it? It says Strasbourg, but I'll say it's him. In terms of right back, It'll be
or Smith or
Arojo. I think he was the one that was there last season, so I assume he'll be starting for this fixture. That would be
wait.
my guess, to be fair. So I'm going to add him in, just based on what was presented last season. And then what else am I- if I can pronounce, if I write his name, there he is. So the right back, the Mexican right back that was signed in January. So I think he'll be there. Truffer, you mentioned him,
Yeah,
saying he's a good fullback. So let's see how he performs in this fixture. I don't think they'll place the new signing in the game. So I think it'll be
Hill.
Senesi.
Yeah, Hill and Sonesi, isn't it?
Senesi and uh, where is he? Senesi and I think they've got Hill. I
Yeah.
don't think. Do you think he'll play in this game? I think it's too
I'm
soon.
I'm struggling to think of who Diakate?
Diakete, the one that they've
Yeah.
just signed. They just
Nah,
signed him today.
oh they may they they may play him.
I think they might go for Hill because he's a bit more of a solid option. So
He may
I
even
think
play
he'll
three.
probably
He may even play three at the back.
he could do, but I don't know if they have as many midfield
Try
options
and
as well.
neutralise it. Yeah, they got injuries, man. They're limited right about now. I expect them to sign
Yeah, they're
a
very
minimum.
limited.
I expect them to sign a minimum of two more players before the window closes.
Yeah. So in terms of the double pivot, you've got Tyler Adams available, which is not always the case, but he could be featured in this one. Uh, and then alongside, I'm going to go for Scott. I think Alex Scott. I know he plays normally a bit more further, but he has shown capabilities that he
This is
can
the
play.
problem, bro. I don't even know if all these players are fit for.
I know this is what
Because
going based of what I've seen today in terms of availability. Of course, it might be
okay,
where
okay, okay, okay.
a lot of these players aren't available. But like I know, for example, Clivert's not there, so
But is Cook
I
is Cook
expect
is Cook injured?
Cook is injured. Yeah, he's not.
Okay.
And then he's got an injury that it might surprise that he might be fit, because it's not a long term injury. He's I think it's a groin injury that he's got. So it could be something that he might be available for this game, or it might be too soon. Then he'll be available
Yeah, well,
next
yeah,
week
because it
instead.
says
So
knock in it. It says knock.
not so.
Christie groin injury. Forward
Yeah,
line is saying Sinistera, Hammy, Clive calf, and then obviously Unal's out because it was his
yeah. So with
cruciate.
Sinistera, they're gonna do a late test because he's had an injury for the last few days as well. So they're not completely sure of him. I think Tavernier will play. Um, if I can expect, I think he'll play. Um, normally a winger, but I think he'll play as a number 10. I'm gonna go for Brooks. He's still there, isn't he?
Yeah, Brooks is there. Yeah, he played in their preseason game the other day.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go for Brooks on the left wing, or maybe he plays on the right wing. Where do you think he'll play? Is
Um,
Semenya better on the left or right? Could go either way, isn't it? I can see them interchanging during the game.
wait, they've got if he's fit because it doesn't say he's injured here. Remember, they've just bought Hamed Traore,
Hammer try. Where does he normally play?
centre mid. So if he's
I
fit, I
don't think
don't.
they'll go for him in this game. I don't because I haven't seen much of him, so I'm not sure if he'll be available for selection. But in terms of striker, I think there's no debate. It'll be Ivan Nilsson because he's
Yeah,
available.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, definitely.
that's the guy that
He's
will
he's
put.
aw-
Obviously,
he's the way he moves and whatnot. His movement is awkward, Evan Nilsson, but he's actually got a good amount of goals for them since coming.
yeah, I think it's a bit of a surprise because when he first started playing for Bournemouth, I thought he might not be good enough to handle the physicality of the league. Like
Mm,
I felt like he was a bit lightweight at times. He got pushed around quite a bit. But what he does have, he's got great movement around the box. He finds himself in great goal scoring positions, and that's made him a success because he's been getting tap-ins here and there. But
yeah,
in the end, that's what you want your striker to do, isn't it? So I feel like next season will be interesting because I feel like he's probably got that confidence now to really make a stamp in the team, and of course
yeah,
he'll be the talisman of this side as well. So this is the predicted lineup. Unfortunately, we can't go into too much depth because it's the first game of the season. But this is what me and Double D feel like will be the lineup. But yeah, we'll probably be wrong. But but this is what we're going for now. But
Yeah.
what we can say with a bit more knowledge is regarding the Liverpool lineup. So let's do our Liverpool predictions. So Alisson or Mamadashvili? Double D, who are you going
Oh
for?
no, no, it's Allison. It's Allison all day long, man.
Good,
If
good,
he's
good.
fit, he's gonna start. But
No, totally agree. Right back will be Frimpong, of course, Conor
yeah, because
Bradley.
things injured. Well,
Yeah,
we'll see. But even if he was back, because Bradley's another one of them ones who constantly gets like these knocks and that. But even if not,
yeah. We
then
have to manage him very carefully this season,
yeah,
not to overuse him too much either. With Frimpong, we've got a player that I think will be, fit. He's very athletic. He's normally got a good injury record, so I think he'll be utilized a lot more. And then Kirkes or Robertson on the left for you? Has to be the old boy, right?
Quirkes. I'm going with Quirkes against his old club, but
Of course, of course.
Robbo might start more games than people expected him to this season,
Yeah, I
and
think they'll be rotated a lot more. I agree. I think they'll be rotated a lot more.
definitely will. If like, don't be surprised if you see Robbo start against Arsenal or Newcastle.
Yeah, like the
Um,
bigger games where
yeah,
we need
yeah,
experience.
but don't because Quirkes is still very young. Like you know what I mean,
Yeah,
uh,
21, 22,
yeah,
I
he's
think.
21,
Yeah,
isn't it? Will be like 22 for his start, but
yeah,
yeah, especially if Zimmerkas is sold.
yeah.
Um, you're gonna like my boy will have more minutes than some expect. But
Mm.
like if I though he's one of my favoured Liverpool players in recent times, if he's not gonna sign a new contract, then you might as well get rid now with Robbo. I mean, I prefer him to stay and just like
Yeah,
nurture and give advice to
to Kirkes.
Kirkes, and that
Be a
will
mentor, isn't it? That's what you want. That's what I want for Leone as well. He's got Van Dijk to
yeah,
show him the
yeah.
ropes, and eventually, whoever is the successor to Mo Salah, I want that guy to be under his belt as well. Probably next time, I
Yeah.
think next time will be that person that comes in to be like an understudy for Mohamed Salah,
Another
and I
thing
think
as
that way.
well, in
Mm,
terms of the Guehi thing, is that
mm.
he's a leader.
Yeah,
And what you notice as well is that we're not short of leaders, but it can do no
not
harm
like
to
too
add
many of
another
them.
one. But when, for instance, we've played cup games down the years, like away
Yeah,
at Norwich or away at Preston, Gomez has been captain. But with
yeah,
his injuries, you're not always going to have that there. So that
yes.
just another leader that can be, could take the captain's armband when Virgil's not there and thereafter is something,
Yeah,
another thing can only be another plus to the squad, man. You want as many leaders as possible to galvanize the troops when things aren't going your way. You get me?
yeah. No, I agree. I definitely agree. Now, I've got a question for you. Double pivot. Who are you going for?
Well,
That's the debatable one, I think,
with
amongst us
Grab
at this point.
suspended,
Yeah,
because
he's
we're at
suspended.
home, I actually am going to surprise you a bit here, and I'm going with Jones and Sobasa just
Okay.
because of the fact that Mac, I don't know if he's got enough minutes under his belt. Mac, don't get twisted. Mac will be more or less a permanent midfielder
Of
in
course.
the squad, but just because
Yeah.
of the lack of match fitness so far, and we're at home against a team that wounded,
Yeah.
um, like limited numbers and that because of injuries and that they've sold people, take the game to them. So I'm actually going to go again with what started the Community Shield with Jones and Sobasa.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you, I actually had that written down. I think it would have been Jones and Saboza. Of course, not based on what they did against Crystal Palace, but I think in terms of availability, with Gravenberch suspended for this one, McAllister, I would definitely put him. Of course, he's one of our best midfielders, but
Yeah,
I just don't feel like he's fully fit. Even when he came on against Palace, something just didn't sit well with me. I don't feel like he's quite ready to start games going forward.
yeah.
Endo could present a better balance in the squad, but I feel like with Jones being a more technical player, Endo
Mhm.
could be utilized later in the game. So I'm with you on this one. I think it will be Jones, and I think it will be Soboslai in the double pivot. So let's put them in there. And We don't need to argue or debate about the right wing or the number 10 position, do we? Let's be honest. Uh, left, there's not really much option other than Gakpo, unless you're going for a wild card and putting Rio in there.
Yeah, man. I think Rio will be on the bench
You
though.
look like you're
I think
tempted.
I think Rio will be on the bench though now.
Yeah,
Cody,
he'll be on the bench. Yeah,
Cody cut her off the top rope, bruv.
yeah, straight.
Cody cut off the top rope.
Gakpo.
People getting onto. I don't know what it is. There's a section of the fan base that like to get onto Cody Gakpo.
Do you know what?
I've
I was
been I've,
about to ask you that because
I've
that's
been a
something that
fan
irritates
from
me.
ages ago at PSV, so I was over the moon when we
Yeah,
bought
I
him.
know.
But there's a section of fans I just never seen. I listen to certain pods sometimes, and they talk
Yeah,
down on the Gakpos, and then obviously you've got your usual suspects like the Elliots and the Joneses and
yeah, yeah,
whatnot. Like, I mean, if you make content and you're immediately onto them guys, then I'm either not gonna bother to watch you no more,
yeah.
or I'm
There's an
gonna limit
agenda,
the
isn't there?
amount that
That's what it is.
I watch.
Yeah, like I don't get it. I honestly don't because like I don't think he was that bad against Palace, but the way people
He
spoke about it,
wasn't,
like
but
he was
yeah,
absolutely
onto him.
shit.
Mm.
I don't know where that came
Mhm.
from. Like,
Like, where
do you
was
know what it
Salah?
is?
Like,
Yeah,
we need Salah turning up in these Wembley games. Where was Mo?
yeah,
Vert started off well and then kind of fizzled out for a bit.
yeah, yeah.
People got onto Jones a lot as well. I think Jones completed all these passes, so they're talking more of terms of like his positional playing, reading of the
Impact, yeah,
game. Okay, fair
yeah,
enough. Soberslay, Jesus Christ, this guy started
wasteful.
off well and just started giving the ball away. Like,
Yeah, he was
I
wasteful in
mean, like,
possession.
come on, man.
But that's the thing. You have to assess the game based on the performance, not if you don't like the player, you've got an agenda. Because for me, it was quite clear there was an agenda with Gakpo. Because unfortunately, it's just one of those things in sort of modern, modern times or whatnot. Is that every team has a scapegoat,
Yeah.
whether you like it or not. And I feel like Luis Diaz was our probably scapegoat for the last couple of years.
Mhm.
So Gakpo's taking that mantle, unfortunately. I don't think his performance was that bad where
I'm on the other
fans
end
are
of
crashing
Diaz, you
out.
know. I'm on the
Huh?
other end with Diaz, you know, because obviously we don't talk to all the same people, but there'll be certain Liverpool
Yeah,
games where Diaz has played, and I've looked and I've thought that he was average or showed some good bits in spurts, but
yeah,
overall wasn't sticking out for everyone else. And I talk to people who are like, oh yeah, we're poor, we're doing this, we're being overran. Diaz is the only one that's trying and whatnot. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking that like, what, because he ran back on like one attack or
but that's the same thing
whatever
with
there.
Darwin Núñez.
He
Darwin Núñez
sometimes
needs to get that
he
as well.
he sometimes leave man them exposed. Like I'm trying to
Yeah,
last season we played I say last season, it's the start of the 23-24 season. We played
yeah.
Chelsea. Did that did that finish in a draw? That game, start of 23-24. We played Chelsea. Was I think it was a 1-1. Was it a 1-1 draw?
Not too sure.
If
Don't
I'm
have the
not
best of
mistaken.
memories.
I'm sure Salah gave us the lead, and then I'm trying to think of who would have equalised for Chelsea though. I'll Google the result in a second. Yeah, that
Yeah,
game there.
Google it.
Diaz
Yeah,
was Diaz, like on the left, was performing, was giving no sort of consistent protection to Robbo, bruv. To a point where in the
mm,
second half, Chelsea were all over us, and then Enzo and McAllister were getting into it, taking us over them thing there. And I
yeah,
think it's like because he looks like he's always on the move,
yeah, yeah.
so he's not actually covered the player, won a ball back, done the recovery or whatever. People just get into
Mm,
the oh yeah, Diaz because they saw him running and etc. There. So I don't really think I think he was protected. Diaz in certain sectors. I come on numerous pods
mm,
and I
mm,
always say last season because of the fact 13 goals usually that's cool, you'll take that. It's not out, it's good. You'd like
yeah,
more, but the fact he got five in these first five and you played a bag of games as a nine, though that's not your actual position. For me, you have to
yeah,
reach 15, and he only got to 13. He's only two shy, and we won the league anyway, so it's a minor.
yeah.
But you get what I'm saying? And like people talk like, yeah, just numbers and the like I'm not like you get me.
Nah,
So
his numbers weren't that high. Last year was his best season in a Liverpool shirt, but last year as well, he had that phase where, or that purple patch, I should say, where
yeah,
scored 5 and 5, as you mentioned. But then he went on like
he
a
didn't
run
score
of
for
games
three
of
months.
something like
He
yeah,
didn't
he
score
couldn't
in the league for
like
3 months.
18
He
games or
broke
something
it.
where he couldn't score a single goal.
Yeah, 3 months he didn't score in the league, but because in the
Yeah,
midst, the middle of that, he scored the hat trick against Leverkusen
in
in the
Leverkusen.
Champions
Yeah,
League, people
yeah,
forgot. about that. 3 months.
Yeah,
It was way at
it's true.
West Ham when we slapped them in December that he broke that after
Yeah,
after not scoring from September. You get what I'm saying? So I wanted
yeah,
more, but league don't mind that because we won it anyway. But other
yeah, exactly.
competitions just get charged the time, especially when you're playing this a nine. You made good runs and opened up for other players and that. But so I was sad to see. Um, I was sad to see him go, but I
Yeah,
wasn't like overly
distraught.
like upset about it. You get what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
mean, but
no, I hear you.
mm,
I hear you.
mm.
Okay, now in terms of team, we've only got one striker,
Hugo
unless
Boss.
you go, unless Isak miraculously signs tonight or something. But no, I don't think that's going to happen. So
No, but he wouldn't.
Ekitike,
He'd be short of Matt Sharpness
yeah,
anyway.
he's not played
Even
any
if
preseason
he
games. They
were to
mugged him
get
off,
him,
innit? He
bro.
couldn't even go to Singapore. He's been at his old club, just running around in rings. Yeah, they
I
hasn't
like
done any
Hugo
real
Boss, you
matches.
know.
Yeah,
Hugo
no,
Boss is
I'm happy. I'm
he's gonna
happy
he's
with
gonna side he's
Ekitike.
gonna side foot one in, bro.
We'll,
just
we'll
like
go- yeah, we'll go into predictions.
just like it's
Let me
bad.
go through some of the comments,
Mm.
and then we will present our score predictions as well. Let me see which one was the last comment. Here we go. Mazzy says Aussie, our starting lineup is strong for tomorrow, so we should get 3 points, but we need Isak Gay to stay ahead of Arsenal and City fam. Yeah, I think me and Double D are in agreement that we need both. I think we'll get both. Double D thinks we'll get Isak. Not sure on Gay, but only time will tell. But hopefully we can
Mm.
get both players through the line.
Yeah.
Uh, Delucy says, please don't say Barcola Oz. I got to drop.
Big up
I got to
Steve.
name drop him at some point. Like, I'm trying to put that energy in the universe. You know what I mean? So if it doesn't happen, I'll be doing it in January. I'll be doing it next summer as well. So I'm trying to manifest that. You know what I
Man's
mean?
on the Barcola payroll, bro.
Yeah, you might as well. If you see me, wearing different sort of clothes and you see me upgrading my whole setup, you know what's happened. You know what I mean? I might even have a studio after he signs. So yeah, things will change if that's the case. Uh,
Oh,
that says Ozzy. Is it true about Gomez out again? Is that true?
I've not heard anything new.
Nah, I
He's
gotta check this
training. He
out.
won't. I don't believe he'll feature against Bournemouth, but he's not. You get me? There's not been a
Oh no, he's
recurrence
available.
or anything that I've heard.
Hold on.
Mm.
No, he's available. I don't think he's injured. It's just that I think it's precaution that we're not expecting to involve him so far because he's just come
Yeah,
back from injury. So, bloody hell, I nearly had a heart attack there. Okay. Raji Painter says, can you ask your guest how he feels about the signings we've made and do we need to take more signings and how many trophies does he think we'll win this season? The first part of that question, we pretty much covered that in the first part of the show. So
yeah. That's
rewind
how we
it.
started, Raji. Big up, man.
Yeah. So
Mm.
we spoke about half an hour on that. So do check that out later on. But in terms of trophies, I can ask you that now, Double D. How many trophies do you think we will win this season?
Um,
Come on.
I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna go two. I'm gonna play it safe. We're gonna win two
I'm happy with
trophies
two.
this season.
Which two? Which two?
Um, the league and the League Cup.
Okay.
But, but if we get both, yeah, if we get Gerhi and Isak, yeah, why not quad? We've challenged for it what 3 times in the last 5 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, one of them was when we was in Europa, though, not the league, but so still a quad, but not like the
Yeah.
front line
Yeah.
and
Yeah. I
quads or
get you.
whatever. But yeah, why not? If we get all the signings in, then why not, bruv? And obviously there'll probably be some more outgoings. Though, as I said, I'd like Elliot especially to stay, but the likes of
Yeah.
Elliot, Ben Doak,
Where do
etc.,
you think
could
he'll
be
go?
moved on.
Where do you think he'll go in the end?
Who Harvey?
Mm.
If Tottenham can't get Eze, I think there maybe West Ham might have a go. But then again, they've got Paquetá that can play the 10. No, Paquetá can play. He can play as an 8 as well because of the work rate and that he has. So I'd say out of Leipzig, Tottenham, and West Ham.
Okay.
I'm not sure he's on the German thing though. And the decision ultimately might
Yeah, I
be
think you're right.
heavily the decision also might be heavily influenced by his dad. But yeah, if we get in all of that, but that's the thing though. I don't want those players to go because even on that flipping right hand side, I think with his pace, though could be. I think if we play someone like it could be a League Cup game, for instance, or even a league game, West Salah for a Champions League match or whatever.
Yeah.
Frimpong and Doak on the right. how are teams going to contain that pace? How?
honestly. And they formed such a great partnership on that right hand side as well, like Salah and Frimpong. I
Mm.
feel like people are just gonna have headaches trying
Oh
to
no,
chase
but
one or
I'm
two of
saying
them.
that if we were to rest Salah for a game, yeah,
Mm.
I'm
And
saying
then have Frimpong,
if we get the
yeah.
Champions League, I was saying Frimpong and
Mm.
Doak. I would love to see their
Do you
pace,
think
how
Doc will
teams
stay?
would handle. No, no, that's what I'm saying. I said that I think he'll
Mm.
go. That's what I'm saying. I said Doak. I was saying I think Doak will be sold, but I was saying
Okay.
that I wouldn't mind him
Oh,
staying. That's
you
what
would
I'm saying.
prefer. Okay.
I was saying that like I would prefer him to stay, but I said I think he'll go. But I'm saying that I would have loved to see in a proper match, not a pre-season thing. Frimpong and
Oh,
Doak,
okay.
that pace on the right, get Salah some rest. Only bring him on if the game is
Mm.
not done. You get what I'm saying? But I think he'll go. So if you sell Elliot, you sell Doak, etc.
Yeah.
Like then it would seem like a dream, but getting a Barcola or a Rodrigo or whatnot then becomes something that could
Yeah,
be
I get you.
actually be a reality. You get what I'm saying? So I'd say we need two, Gahey and Isak, but if those
Yeah.
sales come in, we could get three people in.
So for me, I said it last week as well that I think we do need another attacker in our team, but we've been linked with the likes of Barcola, of course, that's my guy, but
Mm,
Rodrigo and Fofana, I
mm,
feel like we should go for a different profile. I feel like we should go for a right winger that's
mm,
left-footed, but can play on the left wing as well. So with that, you've got a direct cover for Salah. So as you mentioned, when Salah's not around, or we need to rotate, or when he's at AFCON, you've got a natural fit there.
mm,
But during the season, you've got a left-footed player that can play left wing and give us a different threat. Being a natural left-footed player,
mm,
attacking that byline. I'm gonna use this name as a profile rather than the guy because I don't think he's all that. But like Madueke, where he's gone to Arsenal, but he's covering for Saka, but
yeah,
he's also going to probably be a starter or challenge for that left wing position. So that was a profile that I wanted Liverpool to go for in this window.
yeah,
And then also because the big talk about amongst Liverpool fans is that, oh, what about Rio? Like we're going to block his pathway. Well, in that scenario, you've got a player that covers two positions, right wing and left wing, but then Rio still has a pathway for that left wing. So for
yeah.
me, that would have been the perfect profile to sign in this window. And in terms of names, there's a player that I really like, but I think he's on the move now. I think there's been linked to a lot of clubs. Is Akiluche, so he plays for Monaco. So if you
Oh yeah,
haven't seen
yeah,
him,
yeah,
Double
yeah,
D, that guy is special, man. So he's someone that can play as a right wing, left wing, and as a number 10 as well.
yeah.
So that one would have been, the right profile to go for. But we'll see. Well, Richard Hughes might surprise us. That's my guy. So let's see, what he does in this window. Uh, I'm shameless. I'm not gonna lie.
I,
Ah, Mazzy says, Ozzy, apart from the obvious links to Isak and Gay, who else do you think we could sign before the transfer window closes? Thanks. That would be my dream person, as in to have a player that covers right wing and left wing. I don't think, if it's not that profile, as in having a long term successor to Salah, I don't think we'll sign someone. I think it will be Leone, who's pretty much almost done now, Gay and Isak. I think that will be the end of our window, if I'm being honest with you. A defensive midfielder, I think that will be something we address next summer. And I think the right winger to be Salah's successor will be next summer as well. So I
if
think those are the two positions we'll look at.
if it was a case where Gahey stays at Palace, do you
Mm.
think that we would go for someone like Diomande? Because you've been talking about him for a while,
Oh,
and
good shout.
Palace were looking at him if Thing left. So do you think we would do that, or just be content and leave it, and then if need be, put Robbo or Endo at centre half?
My feeling on that is that I think they'll wait on Gay, if I'm being honest with you. And I only say that is because of the signing of Leone. If Leone wasn't signed, then I think we would have gone for Diomande. We kind of would have just, been that big bully on the playground and just say, all
Mm,
right, fine, if you're not giving us Gay, we'll take your target, which is Diomande. But I think because we've done so much work to get Gay, I think that if we can't get him in this window, we'll just have to wait and get him on a free transfer. But then with that in mind as well, I would be a bit skeptical about that because then I feel like, is he going to be Konate's replacement if we
Yeah,
are
yeah,
waiting to get him
that's what I've
next
been
year?
suggesting for time ago. These Canate,
Mm,
this contract thing's gone on way too long, man.
way too long. It has. Like there's rumors suggesting that he's going to be up for the new contract this. in the next few weeks,
Mm.
or not few days. I'm sorry, and
Apparently,
then
it's already been. Apparently, it's already. He's already been offered it, and he's just not
if he's
accepted it yet.
rejected it
I don't
or
think
he's
he's
not signed
rejected it.
it.
I just think he's not offered it yet. Might be incorrect information because you know these people like to jump the
Yeah,
gun
yeah,
with
of
these
course.
things. But yeah, if you value the player that much, and he is obviously Van Dijk's partner at the moment, give him the
Yeah,
money give him the money that he wants, man. Goodness me.
yeah. I I think in terms of numbers, it would make sense to sign Diomande because I feel like Diomande is a great profile as well. He'll
Mm,
be a slightly different profile to Gay. Where I feel like Gay has a bit more about him. Maybe because he's Premier League proven, there's a bit more assurance to have him as a signing
mm,
into our squad. Of course, homegrown and ticks a lot of other boxes, but you can't rule it out. I just feel like they would rather wait and sign him next year on a free. But then what happens now is we'll have Van Dijk, Konate, Leone, Joe Gomez, and then Endo will be like your fifth choice, or Robertson ends up being sixth choice. So I think that's how they'll work around. But for me, that doesn't give me a whole load of confidence going into next season because Joe Gomez, as much as I like the player, because of his availability or lack of availability, I always feel like we're always like one man down as the
mm,
season goes on, if that makes sense. So with that, I always feel like it's important for Liverpool to always have four centre backs plus Joe Gomez. With Joe Gomez being the plus defender, he pretty much covers centre back, left back, and right back. So there's no huge pressure on him in terms of being able to play as many games, but whenever called upon, he's someone of great experience and can do very well on the pitch. So that would have been my way of thinking. I think that is what Liverpool are trying to do, to be honest with you. It's just a matter of time, if Liverpool and Crystal Palace can come to a common ground. I think we will. I just feel like it's a matter of time. I think Simon Parish is trying to get as much out of the deal as possible, and that's why he's delaying it a little bit. But I feel like it will happen. If I'm to make a prediction, not that I'm a ITK or anything to that nature, but I think something we'll get some sort of development next week, in my opinion.
mm.
So let's see. Fingers crossed. That is the case. Uh, Daz says Mo is vice captain. I thought he would have been, to be fair. So it's good that he has been given that sort of
Alison
title
Kirk
right
as
now.
Ifiti Ibuafing Pum.
Yeah, definitely.
Good
So
Kirk.
Ozan cover his lineup is Allison, Kirkes, Van Dijk, Ubu Frimpong, Kirk, Tis, Szoboszlai, Verts, Cody, Ekiti, Monsal. So same lineup as us. So yeah,
Yep.
Ozan cover we're on the same wavelength there. Rajib says my team for tomorrow: Allison, Frimpong, Van Dijk. He's gone for Robbo at left back, which is interesting. He's gone for Mac, Szoboszlai, Verts, Salah, Hugo, and Gakpo. This team should get us three
There's
points
only there's
comfortably.
only three defenders there.
You're right, yeah. I hope he's not playing Robbo at centre back. That'd be a concern.
Raj,
Uh,
give us your other defender.
yeah, who's your other defender, Raj? Let us know in the chat. I'm assuming it's Konate. He's probably just forgotten to add him, but Robbo's an interesting one. Mac, I don't know if he's fully fit, so we'll see. But you can't rule it out. To be fair, this is Daz's 11 for tomorrow. He's gone for Allison, Frimpong, Ibu, Van Dijk, Kirkis, he's gone for McAllister and Dominic Szoboszlai,
Uh,
Verts, Mo, and Katike, and he's gone for Rio. Okay, that's interesting.
Interesting.
Very, very interesting there from Daz. Man says, Aussie, with the season starting tomorrow, give me your top four and top goal scorer plus who'll win the player of the season. So we'll speak about it later in the show, but I will do a dedicated show where I go in a little bit more detail in terms of the awards that you mentioned there. So yeah, we'll touch
Yeah.
on it briefly. I've got that question lined up for Double D, so he'll give his top six prediction as well. Ozan Kabak says, hope Mac is fit, but Slot said he isn't match fit yet. Listen to a pre-match press conference, bro. I didn't listen to it today, so that
Yeah,
makes
no, listen
more
to it.
sense, of him not being available. So yeah, thank you for that, Ozan Kabak. Uh, that says Aussie for you and Double D. When Mo goes to AFCON, who would be vice captain? Also, who will play on the right wing? So on the right wing, I think it would possibly be Frimpong because I just feel like he gives us that natural width and pace on
Mm.
that side. Chiesa, if he's showing good form, could be utilized there as well. In terms of vice captain, I'd give it to McAllister. I don't know who you'd give it to if Mo Salah's are there. Who would be a vice captain after Van Dijk?
Um, I would have said Robbo, but Robbo is not going to be the first choice.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, lefty no more. So Mac, I've got a feeling Summerside would be a deal because he's obviously
Oh,
captain for Hungary and whatnot.
yes, he is. Yeah,
I think that would. I think I'll give it to Dom, bruv. And he just, but one of them captains that lead by example because obviously he's
yeah, yeah,
just non-stop with the work rate and that. You get me?
yeah.
Well,
Oh, okay.
Ibru quite vocal. If fit, couple options
Mm.
there. Well, yeah. Well, Allison.
Well, Allison, yeah, senior
Mm,
figure there.
mm,
No, good shout there. Delu Steve says Mamadashvili in goal. Interesting.
mm.
Robertson,
Interesting.
Van Dijk, Nalo. Okay, that caught me off surprise. So Bosley, Endo, Jones, Verts, Rio, Gakpo, Salah. Hey,
He's
how
only got Steve's only got three defenders as well, hasn't he?
he's got three defenders as well. It's because of the long names, isn't it? Mamadashvili took up so much space. Forgot to add the right back there. So, uh, Delu Steve, let me know who your
No,
match.
actually, he's gone 3-4-3. Robertson, Van Dijk, Nalo, and then he's got Soboslai, Endo, Jones, Verts,
Jones, Verts.
Rio, Gakpo, Salah. Yeah, he's gone
Wow.
three,
Okay.
four, three. Mm.
Interesting. I don't think I was expecting that, but yeah, big up yourself for your comment there. And Ozan Kabak says, back to back is all I care about. Totally agree with that. Back to back is the
Yeah.
main objective for this season. Real McCoy, big up yourself. Says, why do you still have Rubbish Jones starting? Not a lot of options, unfortunately, Real McCoy. So Gravenberg is suspended for his fixture, and McAllister, from what Arsenal confirmed, which of course Ozan Kabak let us know earlier on today, um, is not fully fit. So because of that, there's no real urgency to start him in this game. Endo could be a shout, but I think because of Jones's technical ability, I think he'll go with a double pivot of Szoboszlai and Jones. So yes, that's just our opinion. We'll see how the team unfolds tomorrow. Now, in terms of the score prediction, Double D, what is your scoreline for tomorrow and your goal scorers as well?
I'm gonna go. I want to go 2-0, but though they've got limited numbers, I'm gonna go 2-1.
Okay,
Ekatike and Salah, both
nice.
goals assisted by Florian Wirtz.
Mm. And who's the goal scorer for Bournemouth? Who gets a consolation?
Semenyo.
Semenya? Good
Because all he
shout.
does is not all he does, but like he likes a shot, and
Yeah,
I
he's got a
mean
shot.
because the reason I'm saying that is because that team going forward, we played some scintillating stuff, and all throughout through season going forward, you've played some nice stuff, bar maybe the Milan game, but
Mm,
when teams proper pushed out, I say teams, when Palace pushed at us with their numbers, they looked dangerous, and
mm.
Bournemouth, because of how well their manager can set them up, they'll get their shots in there, like having a shot on that as well. So I think we'll win. If we're proper on it and thingy whatnot, we could get 3 or 4 tomorrow because there's enough attacking ability there. Like in that team, anyone in that of the midfielders and forwards, anyone in that six can get a goal. Frimpong will push on, Kirkes will push on, and then either Ibu or Van Dijk could get a header from a corner. So if we cut out the silly errors, we could win 4-0 tomorrow or today. It's after midnight now. We could win
Yeah.
4-0.
No, fair play. In terms of my score prediction, I'm going a bit bold and I'm going for three now. I
Cheers.
think the defense is not quite well knitted right now because there's been a lot of chop and changing happening in the squad. So I'm going to go for three now. And in terms of goal scorers, I'm going for Salah because Salah, from what I remember, has scored, is it 9 consecutive goals in opening fixtures? I feel like I read that somewhere today. So he's always scored on opening day of the season. So I'm going for Salah,
Yeah,
and I'm going for Verts, and I'm going
yeah.
for Ekitike as
Jeez.
my three goal scorers. So yeah,
Hugo
that's
Boss on that.
yeah, you got to stick with Hugo Boss. So let me know in the chat what your score prediction is for this game. Just gonna read a couple of comments here before we ask Double D one more question, and then we'll wrap up the show. Real McCoy, he doesn't like Curtis Jones. He has said he would like to start with Endo, or he would rather start with Trey. So that clearly shows he's not a big fan of Curtis Jones at all. Uh, so yes, before we close the show, Double D, give me your pre-season because I have to say pre-season because the window hasn't closed yet. So, What's your pre-season top six prediction?
Ooh, man sprung this on me before, and I hadn't actually. Well, I'd thought about it, but I hadn't. I actually said on our show, on the radio show on Saturday, that I think Man United could come seventh, so they won't
Okay.
be involved in this, right?
Mm,
Because that front line, if that front line clicks, they can do damage only playing one game a week. But
yeah.
I'm going to tip off. So this has been the only time ever in terms of whether it be radio, podcasts, writing predictions or whatever that I'm ever predicting Liverpool because I'm assuming we're going to get Isak. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I'm going to go though they've like they some you can see forms of fragility defensively sometimes, especially with no Gravenberch there to protect the back four. I'm still going to go us to win the league, and I've never done that before. So I'm hoping I don't curse anything there, right? Us to win the league, right? Because what will happen is that if we concede more goals than we expect, we're going to go again in January with a defender because they and then now Hughes has got getting our votes of confidence now. He can't let that down if it doesn't start well and not feel that defensive reinforcement is needed. So I'm going to go us to win the league. I'm going to
Mm,
go Man City second, Arsenal third. They could easily interchange. So in about 8 to 10 hours, I could say Arsenal going to come come second again. But right now, at 1:15 in the morning, I'm going Liverpool first,
mm,
City second, Arsenal third, Chelsea fourth. So if the attacking players
mm.
Chelsea have got, if they click, Chelsea could do some real damage.
Yeah. Very true.
So them fourth, fifth. Oh, I'm probably still if Newcastle get Visa because I think he's a finisher.
Mm,
I'm gonna go Newcastle fifth,
okay.
and this is gonna surprise some people. I'm gonna go Tottenham to finish sixth,
Okay.
just because of the fact that though they lost to Paris Saint Germain, they
Yeah.
showed a discipline that showed me that in the bigger games he's gonna do what he did and use Spence defensively, like so as a wing back. But then when
Mm,
going forward, inside forward, but that will be for big games. In normal games, whatever it might be, a Brendan Johnson or Matisse Tell or whatever that actually occupies that a proper forward that occupies that role. But I think
yeah.
Frank's going to galvanise them, and I think they're going to pick up a few wins that people aren't expecting. So I'm going to go them sixth, and then if I was to continue, Man United, Villa, them other teams come into it because I don't know whether though I expect Watkins and Rogers to do their thing. I don't know if Villa well, we'll see. They've still got time to buy people, but yeah,
Yeah.
off the top of my head, that because you sprung that on me as a surprise. I hadn't really fully thought about it. I was saving those predictions for Saturday on our show, but yeah, but hopefully I don't jinx our team and we go back to back, man.
No, no. That's all right. I thought I'd ask a question 'cause I always like to do pre-season ones before the season begins.
Yeah,
But then you know what I do? I always do like a dedicated show after the window closing. That's when you're gonna get
yeah,
my
yeah. Because
real
then you know all the
predictions.
signings, in it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
Mm.
now in terms of my top six, might not be too much of a surprise, but let's see how it goes. So number one, Liverpool, obviously without a shadow
Come
of a doubt,
on,
back to back, title wins there.
let's
I'm going for
go.
Man City's second, just like
Mhm,
yourself. I
mhm.
think Man City are Liverpool's strongest rivals. Arsenal in third place. I've gone for Chelsea as well. I think
Mhm.
Chelsea look very strong in terms of what I saw in pre-season. Been very impressed with João Pedro. I think it looks like a fantastic signing for them. Like you said, if it clicks, I think they've got the strength in depth. They've got about 50 players, so they've
Yeah,
got enough mans to cover certain positions and stuff like that. Now, in terms of fifth, let me know if I'm wrong. Five teams go to the Champions League this season,
yep,
isn't it?
yep.
Yeah. So the team that finishes fifth, as of today, I'm going for Tottenham.
Yeah.
So I think Tottenham will surprise people because I feel like they've signed some really good players.
Mhm.
I feel like I don't know, put yesterday's result to one side.
Yeah.
They look defensively better, in my opinion. They've got a bit more shape about them,
Mhm.
and I think Thomas Frank is going to be one of those coaches that's going to make sure that is drilled in the squad to be defense first. Make
Mhm.
sure they are compact, they're not leaking goals.
If
So
they
I
get
feel like
Eze, Ozzy, if they get Eze, because
Yeah,
Madison's out for like 6 to 8 months.
and
If
Son's
they get
left.
Eze, boy,
Mm,
brother, brother,
mm. They'll be cooking. He'll be great in that team as well. I think he'll do really well in that
yep,
on that left side. I think he'll be a great player. So it'll be interesting because I know Arsenal linked to him as well. But Arsenal, from what I've heard, they're holding on hopes to possibly sign Rodrigo, which I don't know if there's any sort of chance of that happening.
mm,
I feel like Rodrigo is going to stay at Real Madrid. I don't see him moving. To be honest with you,
yeah,
I feel like he's still
probably
got
stay.
hopes to stay there. And
Mm,
try and make a name for himself. So I don't think he'll leave unless there's an opening where PSG have sold someone because I don't know what Luis Enrique is doing. Like he's just seems to be getting rid of Donnarumma because he doesn't like the look of him all of a sudden. So, if they have that kind of moment where they get rid of one of their attackers, then that equals to a gap in the squad. But I don't think Rodrigo will move on. I don't see him going to Arsenal. I don't see him going to Tottenham. In terms of Liverpool, I don't think we'll go for him personally. Um, but you never know. It's one of those things we'll have to wait and see. And in terms of my sixth place team, as of now,
it's
I'm
tricky,
gonna
isn't it?
go for Newcastle.
It's
I
tricky.
think
It's
Newcastle.
tricky.
I feel like they've got a great foundation. I know they haven't signed the striker yet, and I'm gonna basically think Isak's not there. But if you look at their squad, they are quite strong. So even with the additions of Malik Fiao, who looks like a very good player, by the way, I think that's a good signing for them. Jacob Ramsey is one of those players where he had huge potential back in the day. Fortunately, injuries have kind
Some
of,
injuries, but
affected his
I think
progress.
with the way how does the midfield,
Mm,
um, I probably will end up agreeing with you by the end of the window and switch Tottenham and Newcastle. But
mm,
the joke is as well, it could be even a seventh for Newcastle if um
yeah,
things don't mix, right? Because obviously the
yeah,
figures in the Champions League without what to an extent their best player in Isak,
yeah,
though some will give claim to the likes of Tonali, who's quality, and
yes,
Guimaraes is another midfielder that I rate.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, I could end up like you swapping Newcastle and Tottenham. Coming to
mm,
think of it, because I think Tottenham will do more business, and I was impressed with what I saw for 70 minutes against PSG. It's a small sample size, but I just think Frank will have them be more stubborn
yeah.
um,
I think so as
as
well.
the season goes on, and they're gonna be difficult for a couple of
They
teams to
haven't
beat.
signed Palinian yet, have they? But I think that's someone that are close to signing, aren't
But
they?
they've got him. They've got
Palinian.
him. He
Oh,
started
they've got him.
yesterday. He started
Oh,
yesterday. Yeah.
but I didn't even watch the game yesterday, so
Oh,
that
okay.
shows me
Yeah.
that they've got
It,
a solid midfielder.
him, yeah, and Pape Sarr
Pissar as well, yeah.
covered every blade of grass.
Yeah, he's a
Paulinia,
solid
like
player.
the formation was, and then Benton Kerr in there, like the
Okay,
work rate of the midfield, and then
that's a
obviously
good combination
English
there.
will run relentlessly. Yeah, like
Mm,
I think they I'm gonna surprise people.
yeah.
I think Tottenham
And in
could do
terms of
something.
Man United, because everyone's going to be like, "Oh, why have you two not got Man United?" I think with Man United, I feel like they've got a lot of work to do this season. It's not going to be because they're Man United, they move up, from 15th to 7th or
It's the
6th or
forwards.
wherever you place
I
them.
hope they don't get Belieber, but that is looking more and more like it will happen as long as they match.
Mm.
Like they could give like
What's the fee?
90 million to
Oh,
Brighton. Um, I
it's a lot.
think in terms of the whole package, I think they want close to 100 million
100 mil,
Brighton.
yeah, that's what I heard as
Otherwise,
well.
if it was lower, I'll say we should get involved. I think that's a bit of physicality that we would need in the midfield. But if you're
Yeah,
spending
he'd
that
be a great
much,
player.
you're not spending that much on someone to back up Gravenberch. They'd have to be a starter. So I
Mm,
don't see us being in that race.
no,
But if they get
not yet.
Belieber now, and if that strike front three kicks, because like as I've said uh, to one of my friends, well actually I've said it on our radio show as well. If
Mm,
any other team bought Cunha and Embuemo, and I was saying this from before they got Cisco, because I'm not the biggest Cisco fan, right?
me neither.
Um, though he's still young, so can develop. Like as we said with Ekatike, who's what like a year
Yeah,
older than them or whatever. Yeah, if that front those players click, remember two of these players, though obviously they had more responsibility because they were at smaller clubs. We're in the top 10 goal scorers in the Premier League. You can't overlook that and just think it's a minor because of how crap Man United were last season.
Yeah.
Amarim should have more experience now and should realise now that he sometimes has to tinker with his formation. He can't just
Yeah.
stay on the three at the back every single game. There might be a time where he should do something different. And
Mm.
then one game a week as well. No Europe. They're in the Europa League last season,
Yeah.
right? Got to the
Mm.
final. One game a week. They could be more dangerous than people think. So, though they finished
Yeah.
really low last season, I see them at least coming eighth, which still doesn't sound that great. But these men, if other teams had been better, could have been in the relegation dogfight to the last day of the
Yeah.
season. So, yeah, if those men hit the ground running,
Mm.
in Bournemouth and Cunha especially, if they can
Yeah.
feed Sesko, and you know that Bruno will be creating chances and he's going to chip in with goals as well. It'll be interesting when they play Bruno because they played him as a six in one or two pre-season games, which clearly isn't his best position, but because of his work rate, you could get away with it against some opponents. I think Man United could cause some surprises. I even think don't be surprised if on the opening weekend if they beat Arsenal. Arsenal will
Yeah.
still finish over them easily, but don't be surprised. First day of the season is an anomaly. So it's at
Mm.
Old Trafford, if I'm not mistaken. I think
Yes.
United might do Arsenal in or
Okay.
1-0 or 2-1 by the odd goal, get gassed, then drop points like you'd think they would, and then get back on with some rhythm with the one game a week and do and accumulate some points.
Yeah. United's an interesting one because I think the signing of Cunha and Burma are good signings. Sesko, you know my feelings about Sesko. I don't rate him that highly, to be honest with you. But with these kind of teams, it could click because you've got the creativity coming from Cunha, coming from Mbeumo,
Yeah,
Fernandez in the team as well, as you mentioned. So there are some creative players. Of course, I'm expecting Ruben Amorim to play with real sort of wing backs in this team. So Dogu for me has looked quite decent in preseason for
yeah,
United. So he's a very talented player. Diallo on the right, I'm not sure that's not really his natural position. I feel like he's better a bit more further up, a bit more closer to goal, in my opinion.
that's the only way.
Um,
That's the only way really to accommodate him because
to
now
fit him, isn't
obviously
it? I get it.
you've got Mbomo and Cunha there. They're going to play in those two tens
Yeah, you're right.
that will float. But
Yeah,
I'm a fan of Ahmad.
yeah, he's a
If you
very
told me
talented
we
player.
had the opportunity to get him and play him on the right as a backup to Salah, I'm taking
Yeah, yeah, that's great. That's probably the only United player I'd consider taking, if I'm being brutally
yeah,
honest with you. There's not many. I think he would be the only one as a backup for Salah because I feel like he would really fit the bill there. So it's going to be interesting, in terms of how they do it. But of course, the window hasn't closed. If you were to get Belieber, then of course, you have to take them a bit more seriously. I know there's rumors about Donnarumma. I don't know if there's any real truth to that, but of course, he's a player available. So
yeah. Donnarumma will end up going to one of the Manchester clubs.
yeah, to Man City
Which is a
or
weird
United,
one with City because he's nowhere near as good as his feet as Edison,
Edison.
who might be going Galatasaray, or
Yeah,
as Trafford. He's not as good as Trafford is, so that would be an interesting one. So it might
yeah.
be more likely that it's Man United, and then what that would mean for Anada, then I don't know, but we'll see.
I think they hit him to the curb, to be honest with you. So I don't think they, they would mind doing that. But
Unless Chelsea were to come in for Donnarumma.
do you know what? I said this to someone the other day. I have an inkling it could be Chelsea that go in for him
Yeah,
because Sanchez is. I don't think he's that much of a good goalkeeper. I think he's very average. He's a decent shot stopper, but other than that, he's
I
quite
rated
weak.
him. I This is the thing though. When he was at Brighton, before he
Yeah,
lost his place to Jason Still, I thought
yeah,
this is a good
decent keeper.
goalkeeper.
Yeah,
But he's done some randomness at Chelsea. But he was good in the Club World Cup um, at the back end of it. I
final, isn't
mean,
it?
don't
Yeah.
they slap PSG in that final? He still was busy at stages of
No,
that
he
game.
was actually one of the best players in that game. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie, he was
And he
really
finished the
good.
Premier League season okay. The last couple of seasons of the Premier League was okay. He
Yeah,
didn't start it
he's
really
very
well.
inconsistent. That's the thing. He's very like the mistakes he makes are like so embarrassing to watch. Like that's what you question. If it's like where he could have done a little bit better, it's different. But if there were like calamity moments, then you've got to be like, what is wrong with this guy? Like he's definitely not got the focus or the concentration to be an elite goalkeeper, and that is the difference. When you're putting goalkeepers into categories. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea in the mix. But we'll see. We've still got about just over 2 weeks of the window. Hopefully Liverpool can do some more business. But yeah, once everything is wrapped up in terms of the window, we'll do a proper sort of top six prediction. I'll have Double D on the show once again after the window, and then he can present his as well. Uh,
Cheers.
Before we close the show, I'm just going to go through some of the comments. So, Real McCoy has gone for City as the champions. Okay. Chelsea at second, Liverpool third, Man United fourth, Arsenal fifth, and Spurs in sixth place. Okay. That's an interest. That definitely caught me off guard there because Arsenal fifth, I think, is quite low. United, I think, is quite high. Liverpool's quite low as well. Chelsea could be a dark horse, I think. So to City to win, I don't think City have made some great additions, but I don't think City have been superior in preseason. And I don't feel like for like, they've got a better squad than Liverpool. That's just my opinion. But interesting selection there. So big up yourself. Real McCoy says slot highline going to be his downfall this season. I don't think we're going to play that kind of high line. Like, I think with the way we're set up, we're going to be a bit more strategic in terms of how we defend. We're not just going to go on a high line because we weren't that high last season. And in comparison
No,
to how we used to play under Jurgen Klopp, I think it's different times now where we're a bit more calm, a bit more collected, a bit more compact as a defensive unit. I don't think that's going to be our downfall. But if
no.
that's your opinion, that is it. Uh, Real McCoy says Bournemouth 3-1 if Rubbish Jones and fast bowler get post starts. So you're going for Bournemouth win. Bloody hell, yeah. You woke up on the wrong side of the bed today, didn't you? That is wild. But yeah, thank you for your comments there. But that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you. Let's give a shout out to everyone that's been part of the show today. So shout out to Oz and Kabak, shout out to Stuart, shout out to Daz, shout out to Dubul Dee, shout out to Mazzy, shout out to Rajib, shout out to who else do we have? To Real McCoy. Appreciate your comments and appreciate your engagement as always, guys. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Double D, thank you so much for coming on the opening show of the season. Of course, it's not going to be the only performance from you. You're going to be on the show a lot more during the course of the season.
Yeah,
Please let the people know how to follow you and where to come across your content as well.
yep. At Double D, that's DUBULDEE, just in case anyone's listening and not looking at the screen because it's on there on my handle. But also, I am part of the D&D Football Factory. We're at DD Footy Factory underscore on Twitter and on Instagram, and you can find us every week on Top FM. That's 95.5 FM in London. But if you're not in London, best to listen in on whatever digital radio app you use. Uh, so Simple Radio, Tuning Radio, or there's actually an On Top FM app as well. So that's Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. We've got the Footy on Top show. That's every Saturday. I said till midday, 2 hour show, banter, review games, banter and whatnot. We sometimes do podcasts and whatnot as well, but no time this week to have done a pre-season preview. But yeah, Saturday mornings, as I said, on Top FM, 95.5 FM in London. But whatever radio app you use, you can find on Top FM on there as well.
No,
That's it.
big up. But so when you starting your wrestling channel, you mentioned last season you got the wrestling
Hey,
channel.
bro. God's willing before we're in August now. God's willing before the end of the year. I'm
Yeah, that'd be good.
my own YouTube channel. Got to think of a name and whatnot, logo, sort them thing out there. I'll
Yeah,
come
yeah,
out with something, but it will be called like DSN or something like that. So like
yeah,
Double
yeah.
Sports Network, Double whatever, because it will
That'd
mainly
be
be
cool.
football, Liverpool talk, but there'll be some wrestling and any other sport I feel to cover at that time because I watch a bag of different sports. You might even see
Yeah.
some darts slipping there, but
Why not?
tennis, whatever. But yeah, football, basketball, wrestling would be the main three.
That'd be sick.
But
No,
yeah,
I'm looking
so
forward
but
to it.
obviously, like, the closer it gets, the next time I'm on here, man, will
Yeah, yeah.
give all the information for that. You get me?
No, that'd be
But
good. Looking forward to it. That should be some very interesting content. But yeah, big up for coming on today. Thank you so much for your time.
big up.
And that is it for today, guys. Hopefully Liverpool can get the first win of the season tomorrow. But until then, take care, stay safe, and I hope to speak to you guys hopefully tomorrow. I'll be doing the live watch along for this game. So yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow. So take care.